Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kendra Cook, and my co-host is Kelsey Kiesling. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association. If you have a news topic or event that you would like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 970-677-4119. Today's show runs Monday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m., and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is May 21st, 2018. And now, the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo courtesy of Patrick Allen Jackson. A suspect in a stolen vehicle led Cortez police officers on a chase Thursday night that ended in a crash on South Elm Street in Cortez. The incident started about 10:30 p.m. when the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office received a report of a motor vehicle theft at Ute Mountain Casino in Toyoak. Police officers reportedly saw a white car matching the vehicle's description outside Angels End Zone on South Broadway about 11:30 p.m. and followed it to Main Street, where a patrol car attempted to pull it over. The driver reportedly accelerated, leading police on a short chase before turning onto 3rd Street, becoming airborne, driving through several yards and crashing into a parked car. Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin said the stolen car hit another vehicle while leaving the casino parking lot at 10:30 p.m., but no injuries were reported. The Bureau of Indian Affairs took over the crash investigation. Police got behind the stolen vehicle near the intersection of Main and 1st Streets, Patrol Lieutenant Andy Brock said. As soon as the patrol cars turned on their lights, he said the driver accelerated. The vehicle went out of control after hitting a curb on 3rd Street. After going about 3 yards, damaging several fences and vehicles, the car T-boned a parked vehicle near the 4th and South Elm Street intersection. The driver, 29-year-old Toyoak resident Adrian Belezzo, was seriously injured in the crash, Brock said. He was flown to St. Mary's Medical Center in Grand Junction about 1 a.m. Brock said police suspect that Belezzo was under the influence of alcohol at the time. When he is able to return to Cortez, he will likely face numerous charges, including aggravated motor vehicle theft, DUI, and vehicular eluding. Belezzo was known to police through a previous criminal history, Brock said. The Colorado State Patrol also assisted with the crash investigation. No injuries to police or civilians were reported.
Reported in the Journal, photo credits San Miguel Sheriff's Office. The search for a kayaker who went missing last Wednesday in Miramonte Reservoir, about 20 miles south of Norwood, has been suspended, and the kayaker is presumed to have drowned. The Sheriff's Office is suspending active search operations until any further indications or evidence of the victim's location is discovered, the San Miguel Sheriff's Office said on Sunday. A 21-year-old man from Norwood who reportedly had been fishing from his kayak was reported missing on Wednesday evening after another boater found the capsized kayak, the Sheriff's Office said. The kayaker's name was not released. The boater called 911, the Sheriff's Office said. The search at the 405-acre reservoir, which is about 50 miles north of Dolores, included a dive team from Curacanti National Recreation Area and a Grand County search and rescue dog trained to find bodies in water. The San Miguel Sheriff's Office reported that a Colorado Parks and Wildlife sonar boat crew worked all day and were confident they covered the possible search areas thoroughly. The Sheriff's Office reported on Facebook page. Divers from the Sheriff's Office and Norwood Fire Department located a low-confidence target. The divers from the Sheriff's Office and Norwood Fire checked out but had no results, the Sheriff's Office said. Divers reported a very difficult environment on the lake bottom with essentially zero visibility. They left the scene about 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. Agencies involved in the search included the Norwood Marshal's Office, Norwood Fire Protection District, the National Park Service staff from Curacanti, and Grand County Search and Rescue.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo by Emily Rice with the Journal. For the 3rd year, Ute Mountain Utes and environmental groups held a rally in March to protest the White Mesa uranium mill south of Blanding, Utah. The 30-year-old mill, owned by Energy Fuels of Toronto, is the only conventional uranium mill operating in the nation. The processed uranium is sold to make fuel rods for nuclear power plants. But the waste containment ponds that store chemicals left over in the milling process have come under scrutiny by the Ute Mountain Ute tribe. The mill is 3 miles north of tribal lands in the reservation's community of White Mesa. In advance of the event, Ute Mountain Utes hosted a 3-day seminar at the White Mesa Community Center to educate the tribal community about the nearby mill and what is being done to monitor the air and groundwater. In advance of the event, Ute Mountain Utes hosted a 3-day seminar at the White Mesa Community Center to educate the tribal communities about the nearby mill and what is being done to monitor the air and groundwater. In November, a lawsuit by Grand Canyon Trust against the White Mesa Mill for alleged regulatory violation was dismissed by a district judge in Utah. The mill's radioactive materials license recently was renewed.
From the Durango Herald, headline: La Plata County man is pardoned by Governor John Hickenlooper. Photo credits Jerry McBride. It took about more than 5 decades for James Benavides to clear his name and receive the justice he says he long deserved. In March, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper pardoned Benavides along with 16 other former offenders for a felony burglary conviction, a crime the Ignacio man says he never committed. Of the hundreds of applications for pardons my office has received over the years, yours is one of the few I am granting, Hickenlooper wrote. Many people with criminal histories deserve and desire a second chance, and you have earned one. For Benavides, who was 19 at the time of the alleged crime and is now 73 years old, announcement of the pardon was years in the making. He was at his home in Ignacio when he received the news. It brought tears to my eyes, Benavides said. It was something I never expected to happen while I was alive. I feel great. I feel free. I don't have this weight on my shoulders anymore. Benavides and court records obtained through an open records request depict different accounts of the crime, which occurred December 14th and 15th, 1963. According to Benavides, he was picked up that night by a childhood friend and the two went out drinking. Unbeknownst to Benavides, his friend had broken into Wagon Wheel Liquors earlier in the night and stole a couple of bottles of whiskey. 4 days later, Benavides said the two were picked up by Durango police. There was still some liquor in the truck, he said, and I couldn't prove I was innocent. Court records, however, include a written statement from Benavides' friend that says the two were out on the town drinking that night. They wanted to pick up a bottle of liquor before heading home, but all the stores were closed. So the two drove a car through the glass door at Wagon Wheel to get in and took about $18 worth of alcohol, about $145 in today's dollars. The friend noted they could have, but did not, take more alcohol and left the cash in the register. I just wanted enough to get drunk on, the friend wrote. Regardless, the two were arrested and charged with felony burglary. Court records indicate Benavides pled guilty, but the Ignacio man is adamant he did not make that plea. Benavides faced up to 10 years in prison, but the judge at the time decided to forego the jail sentence in favor of a restrict probation period, which included no drugs or alcohol, staying out of trouble, and finding a job. But over the summer of 1964, a series of run-ins with the law and violations of his probation terms resulted in Benavides having his probation revoked. He maintains the events leading up to his revocation were steeped in racism. Court records indicate he quit a job when a boss told him to stop speaking Spanish at a job site, which he refused to do. Local historian and former Fort Lewis College professor Dwayne Smith said a segment of the community was prejudiced towards Hispanics, evidenced by the existence of the neighborhood called Mexican Flats. However, Benavides clearly violated terms of his probation when he was arrested for a drunken disturbance and another charge of assault and battery that same summer, which, according to his probation officer, led to his probation being revoked. Benavides spent 9 months in prison. After he was released, he successfully completed the terms of his probation and swore to stay on the right side of the law. Aside from a few minor incidents, he says he has lived up to the promise. Over the years, Benavides worked as a mover, truck driver, raised a family, and even helped his brother start a boxing club in Ignacio. He says he has not had a drop of alcohol since 1970. Anything indicating he had a felony conviction lay dormant for years until around 2012 when he went to buy a gun to go hunting with his nephew. The sale was denied because federal law prevents convicted felons from possessing firearms. Benavides started an ambitious and relentless campaign on his own behalf to petition Hickenlooper for a pardon. He wrote letters to the governor, called his office, and had friends send letters of support. Hickenlooper, who has issued 40 pardons in his 2 terms, wrote to Benavides to tell him that he has shown he has moved past his criminal history and has proved to be a contributing member to the community. I believe you deserve a second chance, and I hope that this pardon will create opportunity for you, he wrote. You will now have to make the most of this opportunity. I believe you have it in you to move beyond past mistakes. And these days, Benavides lives in downtown Ignacio, taking care of 3 great-grandkids. The executive order of his pardon hangs in a frame on the wall, but just as stark of a reminder is the glass door that Benavides ended up paying for that still hangs at Wagon Wheel Liquors, almost $500 by today's standards.
Reported by the Durango Herald, the Bureau of Land Management has launched an online corral to begin the adoption process for wild horses and burros. The website connects people who would like to adopt wild horses and burros with an inventory of available animals for adoption or purchase. The BLM also announced the Wild Horse and Burro 2018 events schedule, which includes nearly 70 events nationwide that focus on placing wild horses and burros in good homes. To access the 2018 schedule, visit the BLM Wild Horse and Burro Adoption Events page. The online corral is geared toward increasing the number of wild horses and burros placed into private care. The website, which replaces a 10-year-old system, features a streamlined interface that enables users to more easily find their desired wild horse or burro. It also includes new filtering features and an interactive web map. Users can now submit and track the status of their applications directly through the website. Approved applicants can browse available animals and participate in the competitive bid event that runs from May 15th to May 22nd. All animal bids start at $125. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Map, with all that rain and thunderstorms across the country, makes you wonder how we still remain outside of forecasted precipitation. So you can see there is a storm front across the western states, excepting most of Utah and Arizona. That set of low systems is supporting chances for thunderstorms and rains from New Mexico and parts of southern Texas, Wyoming, and east through the Midwest. Oklahoma and Kansas are also remaining dry with no precipitation in the immediate forecast. More rains plague the south and southeastern states throughout the east, up through Pennsylvania and New York State. Regionally, a more specific forecast shows an area of low pressure to the west will bring moisture into the general area today. Daytime heating will tend towards some showers and thunderstorms for the southern valleys, San Juan, and central mountains, mostly ending shortly after sunset. Low pressure will continue to march eastward, and as it does, bring showers and storms Tuesday and less on Wednesday. After that, dry conditions look to build in briefly until another low approaches from the west. The weather news indicates we say goodbye to La Nina as the sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific return to neutral conditions in April. The 2018 late winter, early spring period over North America showed many similarities to what we'd expect during La Nina. In North America, February through April during La Nina tends to be cooler than average in the northern half of the U.S. and through Canada, and then warmer than average throughout Texas and the south and into Mexico. Also typical in February through April during La Nina conditions is more rain than average through the Ohio Valley and drier weather in Florida and throughout the U.S. Southwest, generally similar to what was observed this year. The lack of rain in the Southwest has contributed to the extreme drought and wildfire conditions this year. Looking at our 5-day DCTV outlook, shows today isolated showers after 2 p.m., increasing clouds with a high near 72. South winds around 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 25. The chances of precipitation is low at just 20%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 46. South-southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tuesday, isolated showers and thunderstorms afternoon. Partly sunny with a high near 73 degrees. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 25. And again, the chance of precipitation remains at 20%. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 44. South-southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 73. South-southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 45. And then Thursday, it's sunny with a high warming up to 78. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 46. Friday, sunny, hotter with a high near 82 degrees. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around just 48 degrees. And Saturday, sunny with a high near 85 degrees. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 49. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Durango Herald, U.S. regulators Thursday approved the first drug designed to prevent chronic migraines. The Food and Drug Administration's action clears the monthly shot Aimovig for sale. It's the first in a new class of long-acting drugs for preventing migraines. 3 other shots are expected to win approval by next year, and several pills for preventing migraines are being tested. Current prevention treatments include pills originally developed for epilepsy and other conditions and the wrinkle reducer Botox, but many patients abandon them because they don't help much or cause serious side effects. Amgen Inc. of Thousand Oaks, California, and Swiss drug giant Novartis AG developed Aimovig. Injected monthly just under the skin, using a pen-like device, the drug will cost $6,900 per year without insurance. Migraines can cause disabling symptoms, throbbing headaches, nausea, vomiting, and sensitivity to light and sound. About 10 million Americans get them frequently. They are most common in people in their 30s, mostly women, and can last for several hours or even days. In one study, patients given Aimovig saw their migraine days cut from 8 to 4 hours a month, 8 to 4 a month on average. Those who got dummy shots had a reduction of 2. Each patient group had similar minor side effects, mostly colds and respiratory infections. Some patients saw their migraines completely eliminated, said Sean Harper, Emogen's research director.
From the Journal, photo credit Stephanie Alderton. The new owners of the Cortez Quilt Company introduced themselves to the quilting community with a grand reopening this past Saturday. As it approaches its 7th anniversary, the quilt store at 40 West Main Street is phasing out its yarn shop and instituting several other changes. Its previous owner, Karen Childress, moved out of the state at the end of April, leaving longtime employee Amy King as the new owner. King and her family held a grand reopening on Saturday and unveiled several new fabrics, patterns, and class schedules. King and her husband Todd officially took over the business May 1st. Their children, Nolan and Cassidy, are also helping to run the store, making it a family business, according to King. Most of the other employees have stayed with the shop, as have many of the customers. King said business has been good throughout May so far, but Saturday was especially busy for the grand opening. Old and new customers crowded into the shop to see the new inventory, sign up for door prizes, and eat slices of cake decorated with the shop's logo and the Bernina sewing machines it uses. The family used the event to unveil several lines of fabric, new patterns, and a new schedule of summer sewing classes. King said she's particularly excited about the Sew Days workshops, which will begin on June 14th. The cheapest classes on the schedule, they'll be geared towards beginning sewers from 12 and up, she said. As the shop introduces new things, it'll also be getting rid of some old products. Everything in the yarn shop, which was introduced in 2016, is on clearance sale and will be phased out this summer. King said Childress was already starting to put yarn products on sale before she left, and she doesn't intend to buy more after the inventory runs out. It's not my area of expertise, she said. She also wants to clear the way for a new yarn shop that will be opening on First Street at the end of the month. That shop, the Southwest Farm to Yarn Collective, will be started up by a group of sheep and alpaca raisers, spinners, weavers, dyers, and artisans who have pooled their talents to create a retail location at 360 West First Street behind Nota Dene. The Farm to Yarn Collective will host a grand opening on May 31st from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., including door prizes, drawings, food, and yarns. In addition to regular Montezuma County customers, King said the Cortez Quilt Company gets a lot of business from tourists over the summer. The thing that quilters do is, if you're on vacation, you just have to hit every quilting store you can, she said. To cater to tourists, she has set up a room full of southwestern regional fabrics that are difficult to find elsewhere. Cortez Quilt Company's season of quilting classes begins on May 25th with beginning ruler work on May 25th. Hours will be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. For more information, call 970-565-7541 or visit them online, cortezquiltcompany.com.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo by Stephanie Alderton with the Journal. After more than a year of planning and construction, the city of Cortez is almost ready to unveil its last completed parks project from 2017. The new pickleball courts are at Centennial Park, scheduled to be completed last fall, will be finished this weekend. Parks and Recreation Director Dean Palmquist told his advisory board on Friday. The city also plans to finish one of its first parks projects of 2018, a new playground at the South Softball campus, within the next 2 weeks. There will be a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the playground at 6 p.m. on June 4th, but Palmquist said he's still planning the pickleball court's official opening. The city started work on the pickleball courts last summer after receiving a Great Outdoors Colorado grant to cover part of the $200,000 cost. Renner Sports Surfaces, a company hired to turn 2 of Centennial's tennis courts into pickleball courts, gave October 31st as the completion date, but later delayed the project until May, citing bad weather. But Palmquist said the courts will be open to the public on Monday. He said he plans to hold a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the courts, but he wants to wait until the city finishes some repairs on the nearby sidewalks.
Native American female entrepreneur launches Grand Canyon Rafting Company, as reported in the Durango Herald. Photo credit Cronkite News. Patricia Sespuch, a member of the Hualapai tribe, has long loved her ancestral land and dreamed of making her living on the Colorado River. In early March, Sespuch and her partner Ricky Massey started Grand Canyon 9 Rapids, an independent whitewater rafting business, a goal she has been pursuing much of her life. I started playing around with the idea when I was about 23 years old, she said, who's now 40. She grew up with the Grand Canyon as her backyard and was drawn to the river as she watched her grandfather navigate it. As she grew older, she worked towards her goal of starting her own business, finally getting her rafting permit in 1998. However, starting her own company on the Hualapai Reservation proved more challenging than she ever imagined. Not only do you have to abide by the national park rules and regulations out here, but within your own nation, within a nation, which is Indian country, you have to abide by your own tribal council's requests and demands, Sespuch said. The tribe stopped her business from opening in 1999 when the tribal council declared a moratorium on all new rafting companies operating on the reservation, yet still allowing the one and only tribe-funded rafting company to continue. Sespuch did not give up. She made and sold jewelry for years, saving money to one day hopefully be her own boss. That day came in 2014 when the moratorium was lifted, allowing Sespuch to start her company. Not an easy feat for an independent entrepreneur and a Native American woman. It's been a long journey, it really has, Sespuch said, tearing up. I do get emotional about it because I'm here, that's the great thing. Grand Canyon 9 gets no financial help from the tribe, making family and guests crucial to its survival. Dr. Damon Clark, chairman of the Hualapai Tribal Council, said the tribe doesn't plan to help fund Sespuch's business because the tribe doesn't receive direct profits from it. However, Sespuch is not alone in her efforts to get her rafting business off the ground. Although she hasn't received support from her tribe, she has received it from other entrepreneurs. It's just what neighbors should do, said John McGunty, owner of Grand Canyon Caverns and Inn, a nearby lodge and attraction. He has partnered with Sespuch to provide housing for guests just outside the reservation. The name Grand Canyon 9 comes from the 9 sets of rapids encountered each trip on which Sespuch, her small crew, and guests travel more than 53 miles down the Colorado on either 1 or 2 day excursions. For all the details on what they offer, go online to GrandCanyon9Rapids.com.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of May 14th through the 20th. Cows were reported out on County Road 6. The owner was contacted and the cows were placed back in their pen. A trespassing complaint was filed with the Sheriff's Office. An officer responded, and the case is under investigation. The Sheriff's Office has received numerous calls in regards to the fire ban. The fire ban is still in effect for all of Dolores County. Please do not hesitate to contact the Sheriff's Office if you have questions. That concludes today's Roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings, Sunday, May 27th from 2 to 6 p.m. Once again, the Enterprise Bar and Grill is inviting all the motorcycles, Jeeps, and classic cars to ride to Rico for Memorial Day weekend. Sunday the 27th, they'll have a special smoker menu and live music by the Motones in the outdoor beer garden. This is a family-friendly event and is the official kickoff to their summer season. So please join them for some delicious barbecue, fresh off the smoker, and some good old-fashioned fun in the sun. May 26th, the Mancos Brewing Company is hosting a beer and food tasting to benefit the Mancos Trails Group as they try to raise $2,500 for the Mancos Spur Project. There will be 4 rounds of 10-ounce tastings and food pairings, which can be redeemed at any time throughout the day. There will be live music by Michael Baltoff at 3 p.m. and the Stillhouse Junkies at 6. Tickets are $25 to purchase. Tickets will get you food, beer, live music, and door prizes. It runs from 12 noon to 9 p.m. on Saturday. And also in Mancos, Kilgore American Indian Art presents the Nava Hopi Show Saturday, May 26th from 4 to 7 p.m., featuring live demonstrations by Kachina carvers, Dennis Ross and Harry Burt, featuring pottery and live demonstrations by Ida and Nyla Sami. Free for all ages. Come join for a wonderful evening with live demonstrations and storytelling and history of the Hopi Kachinas during the kickoff of the start of the Grand Summer Nights with live music on Grand Avenue in downtown Mancos Valley. And all of these happenings are posted on the DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, the weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend. For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.